All right, all praise to the Most High. We just got our prayer in. I first and foremost want to apologize to everyone and holding y'all up. We have some situations that we're dealing with here that we really can't control. We apologize. Actually, it's not even Sabbath anymore for us. But for those of you on the West, we understand it's the Sabbath for you. And we're going to keep this thing moving. Today, with everything going on in the world, I think this is a timely topic. And I think I pray that the Most High bring forth some understanding, that'll, actually help in dealing with this thing. What the title is today is called The Conversions, with an S, plural. The Conversions of the Ish people. I almost messed up. They almost got me. The conversions of the Ish people. All right. So we're going to deal with it. All right. We're going to deal with it because the thing is, our people is getting in trouble for staking claim to a lineage. They taking fortunes from our people. They taking people's livelihoods away. Right. And if you get on certain social media platforms, you'll get banned from those. All right. So the thing is, now, in this time with what's going on now, and then I heard a couple of broadcasts where you had some Jewish people, Ish people. Y'all gonna have to help me with that, because you know what I mean? You wish people. You wish? Okay. So you wish people, but I'm really just trying to, I really don't want to be too provocative, because the thing is, I want them to listen too. And if we start to get too provocative, then they'll turn it here. You understand? I want them to be Jeremiah 16 and 19. Those that come from afar and say, hey, surely our fathers have inherited lives. That's what I want them to be. But they won't be that if we be too provocative with them. So I'm trying not to use that word, All right, so, but let's start here. Let's start with some fables. I'm trying to be cool, but that might not happen. Titus chapter 1 and verse 10. Let's go there. This is the conversions, plural, of the Ish people. All right. And like I said, I want to extend an apology one more time. All right. We had a car breakdown the other day. We got two computers that went down. One of them partially works. We got, it's just been a whole lot going on. And then the power was out all day today over here. We're in Africa. So over here, they sometimes turn the power off. Normally, it hasn't been happening on the Sabbath for us. And if it had happened on the Sabbath, it's early, and then we okay. And later on, we all right. But not today. They turned the power off. What they turn your power off at? 7:30?
Like 9.
9:30? Oh yeah, it go off at 9:30. You ain't getting it back on until about 6:30. Yeah. Yeah. Once it go off about 9:30 in that time, forget about it for the rest of the day. If it go off about 7:30 in the morning, it might come on around 11. But 9 o'clock, 9:30, forget about it. But yeah, that's what we've been dealing with. So apologies. All right, let's go to Titus 1 and 10. Let's start there. I'm gonna have, can you read the scriptures? And then y'all two can read the history. Cool. All right, let's go.
Book of Titus chapter 1, verse 10. But there are many unruly and vain talkers and deceivers, especially they of the circumcision.
And now, they of the circumcision. We understand who the circumcision is, correct? Right? We understand who the circumcision is, right? Yes. All right. Go ahead. Now, and I'm asking that question. I'm asking that question because I want to make sure everybody actually does know. All right. Who's the circumcision? Israel is the circumcision, right? But what if you got imposters claiming to be Israel, who think they're the circumcision? Come on.
Verse 11, whose mouths must be stopped, who subvert whole houses, teaching things which they ought not, for a filthy lucre's sake. One of themselves, even a prophet of their own.
Of whose own?
Of their own.
Of their own, go ahead.
Said, the Christians are always liars, evil beasts, slow bellies, this witness is true. Wherefore rebuke them sharply.
Wherefore what?
Rebuke them sharply.
Correct them sternly. Come on.
That they may be sound in the faith. Not giving heed to Jewish fables.
Not what?
Not giving heed to Jewish fables.
Jewish fables, come on.
And commandments of men that turn from the truth.
Go ahead.
Unto the pure, all things are pure.
And unto the pure, those who have no understanding. And you're going to understand this. You should understand this. Our people destroy for lack of knowledge. All right. So they like a blank canvas. Whatever they learn, they take. They take hold of it. They don't know. Our people don't know who they are. So you give them Egyptology. You give them all of these other things that identifies them, and they run with it because to the pure, all things are pure. Come on.
But unto them that are defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure. But even their mind and conscience is defiled. They profess that they know God.
And they profess that they know God.
But in their works, they deny him, being abominable and disobedient, and to every good work reprobate.
And to every good work reprobate. Now I just went there to pull the Jewish fables out, right? Now, one of the fables, a fable that, that's famous with, amongst certain circles is that Abraham was a Jew. And that couldn't be farther from the truth. All right. And we're going to go to scripture to prove it. Okay. These are talking points that's being brought out now. And that's why we're bringing it out. So we're going all the way. Let's go all the way back to Abraham. Let's go to Genesis 14. I brought that out just to show the Jewish fables. Okay. And I understand the scriptures are manifold. All right. The Most High ain't just talking about one thing in certain areas. The scriptures is manifold. Genesis 14 and 12. Genesis 14 and 12.
The book of Genesis.
Now we're going here to get Abraham. All right. Don't pay attention to the context right now. All right. Let's just pull this out. Come on.
The book of Genesis, chapter 14, verse 12. And they took Lot, Abram's brother's son, who dwelt in Sodom, and his goods, and departed. And there came one that had escaped, and told Abram the Hebrew.
Told who?
Abram the Hebrew.
Told Abram the what?
The Hebrew.
The Hebrew. Go ahead.
For he dwelt in the plain of Mamre, the Amorite, brother of Eshcol, and brother of Anar. And these were confederate with Abram.
Those were confederate with Abram. But we went there to pull out what? Abram the Hebrew. Abram the Hebrew. At this time, Abram was called the Hebrew. He was a Hebrew. All right? They don't say Abram the Jew. They don't say Abram the Judaist. They don't say that. All right? Hebrew was a language. And you're going to find, because we're going to go back, you're going to find that Abram actually was labeled the Hebrew from the Tower of Babel. All right? We're going to prove it. We're going to show it. Let's go to Deuteronomy 32 and 7. We're going to go into Josephus, get some history of Jasher, Jubilees. And for those of you who don't understand what those books are, we'll explain them to you. Deuteronomy 32 and 7.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32 and verse 7. Remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee. Thy elders, and they will tell thee.
So this is what we're doing. We have to, in order to tear down the lies, the Jewish fables, we have to do what? We have to consider the days of old. We have to go back in time, in the history. Okay, we have to see the origin of things. The 8th verse.
When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance.
And we're going to where the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance. Their inheritance would be their language and their lands. We're going to show you that too. Come on.
When he separated the sons of Adam.
And now everybody come from Adam, right? But the Most High separated the sons of Adam. Go ahead.
He set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel.
He set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. 70 angels, okay, came and split the tongues. 70 Israelites walked into Egypt. We're going to show you that too. He set the bounds by the number of the children of Israel. Go ahead.
Verse 9. For the Most High's portion is his people.
The Most High's portion is his people. Let's go to Genesis 11 and 1.
Jacob is the land of his inheritance.
Genesis 11 and 1. I'm telling y'all, we had a hard time getting here and getting all of this together. I'm telling you. And guess what? We got a meeting after this. So we got to try to hurry up and get this thing done fast. But hey, all praise, you know, the Most High. Okay, Genesis 11 and 1.
The book of Genesis, chapter 11, verse 1. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there.
Now at this time, the whole earth was of one language. Everyone spoke one language. That language was passed down all the way from Adam. Okay? Go ahead.
And they said one to another, Go to, let us make brick, and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime they had for mortar. And they said, Go to, let us build us a city and a tower, whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. And the Most High came down to see the city and the tower, which the children of men builded. And the Most High said, Behold, the people is one, and they have all one language. And this they began to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do.
They were in unison against the Most High. Go ahead, 7.
Verse 7, Go to, let us go down.
Let what?
Let us go down.
See, the Bible tells you let us go down, but it's not going to specify us. We're going to go into what the us is. Come on.
And there confound their language.
Uh-huh.
For they may not understand one another's speech. So the Most High scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city. Therefore is the name of it called Babel, because the Most High did there confound the language of all the earth. And from thence did the Most High scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth.
So this is where the Most High divided the nations. This is where he divided the nations. I want y'all to listen carefully and just take in these precepts. Just let the precepts talk to you. Let the Most High talk to you. Come on. What's this? Where we going? Let's get Sirach 17 and 17. And then after that, we're going into Jubilees. Sirach 17 and 17.
Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 17, verse 17.
What page?
Page 80 in the red book.
Page 80. When y'all there, let us know.
Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus 17 and 17. For in the division of the nations of the whole earth, he set a ruler over every people. But Israel is the Most High's portion.
You see that? In the division of the nations, he set a ruler over each people. Let us go down and confound the language. But Israel was the Most High, is the Most High's portion. All right? Let's go, let's get Jubilees 15 and 30. Jubilees 15 and 30. Now, does anyone have a problem with the book of Jubilees? Speak now or forever hold your peace. All right. Jubilees 15 and 30. Oh, you need it. Oh, yes, you need it. Oh, okay. Well, they can read it, Joe. 30 through 32.
16.
15. 30 through 32.
The book of Jubilees, chapter 15, verse 30. Right?
Yeah.
For Ishmael and his sons and his brothers and Esau, the Most High did not cause to approach him, and he chose them not, because they are the children of Abraham.
So these people weren't chosen, although they came from Abraham. They weren't chosen. You're going to find, as we go along, you're going to find that there's people who are trying to stake claim to Abraham and stake an election through Abraham. When the promise went through Abraham and through one of his sons, Isaac, and through Isaac's son, Jacob. Okay, but these people will stop and be like, look, skip Abraham, skip Isaac, skip Jacob. I'm Abraham's seed. Right. Come on.
Because he knew them, but he chose Israel to be his people, and he sanctified it and gathered it from amongst all the children of men. And there are many nations and many people, and all are his, and over all hath he placed spirits in authority to lead them astray from him.
You see? So the Most High set spirits and authorities over the other nations to lead them astray. Why? As we go along, you'll understand. Come on.
32. But overall, Israel, he did not appoint any angel or spirit, for he alone is their ruler.
For the Most High alone is our ruler. The Most High alone. We're his portion. Go ahead.
And he will preserve them and require them at the hand of his angels and his spirits, and at the hand of all his powers, in order that he may preserve them and bless them, and that they may be his and he may be theirs from henceforth forever.
Forever. Forever. Ain't no ending to forever. Okay? Let's get Jasher now. Let's go to Jasher. Chapter 9 and verse 32. Who has a problem with the book of Jasher? Let's do this anyway. Let's do this anyway. 2 Samuel 1 and 18, I think. 2 Samuel 1 and 18. I think that's what it is. All right.
Yes.
2 Samuel 1 and 18?
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
The book of 2 Samuel, chapter 1, verse 18. Also, he bade them, teach the children of Judah the use of the bow. Behold, it is written in the book of Jasher.
It's written in the book of Jasher. So the book of Jasher has a reference. The Bible references the book of Jasher. Let's get one more witness, because that's Samuel, right? Joshua 10 and 13. No, Joshua in the Bible. Joshua 10 and 13.
Joshua, the book of Joshua, chapter 10, verse 13.
Yes, sir.
And the sun stood still, and the moon stayed, until the people had avenged themselves upon their enemies. Is not this written in the book of Jasher?
Is not this written in the book of Jasher? So that's another witness. Okay? Y'all got Jubilees? No. We already read Jubilees. Yeah, I forget the scripture. The Jubilees in that pot. They might not even leave in the Apocrypha, some of them. Hey, somebody give me that scripture, the Jubilees in the Apocrypha. The Jubilees prophecy. It was Ezra's. Okay, I remember. I got it. Here it is. Read that for me. 2 Ezra 14 and 1.
Book of 2 Ezra, chapter 14, verse 1. And it came to pass upon the third day, I sat under an oak. And
Now this is showing the book of Jubilees in scripture. Okay, come on.
And behold, there came a voice out of a bush over against me, and said, Ezra, Ezra. And I said, Here am I, Lord. And I stood upon my feet. Then said he unto me, In the bush I did manifestly reveal myself unto Moses. And he talked with me, when my people served in Egypt.
All right, go ahead.
And I sent him, and led my people out of Egypt, and brought him up in the mountains Sinai, where I held him by me a long season, and told him many wondrous things, and showed him the secrets of the times.
Showed him what?
The secrets of the times.
Come on.
And the end.
Uh-huh.
And commanded him, saying, These words shalt thou declare, and these shalt thou hide.
So you got some that he declared and some that he hid. What he hid was the book of Jubilees. Let's read this right here. Jubilees chapter 1 and 1. Jubilees 1 and 1.
The book of Jubilees, chapter 1 and verse 1. And it came to pass in the first year of the exodus of the children of Israel out of Egypt, in the third month, on the 16th day of the month, and the Most High spake to Moses, saying, Come up to me on the mount, and I will give thee 2 tables of stone of the law and of the commandment, which I have written, that thou mayest teach them. And Moses went up into the mount of the Most High, and the glory of the Most High abode on Mount Sinai, and a cloud overshadowed it 6 days. And he called to Moses on the 7th day out of the midst of the cloud, and the appearance of the glory of the Most High was like a flaming fire on the top of the mount. And Moses was on the mount 40 days and 40 nights, and the Most High taught him the earlier and the later history of the division of all the days of the law and of the testimony.
See that? The history of the days and the division. This is the times. All right, the same thing we just read here in Ezra. Okay? Is in the book of Jubilees. All right, precept on precept, line on line. All right, so the book of Jubilees is valid according to scripture. The book of Jasher is valid according to scripture. Okay, so I just wanted to show that before we were to go into Jasher chapter 9 and verse 32. So now let's go to Jasher 9 and 32. And remember, we're still talking about the division of the nations. Come on.
In the book of Jasher, chapter 9 and verse 32. And the Most High said to the 70 angels who stood foremost before him, to those who were near to him, saying, Come, let us descend and confuse their tongues, that one man shall not understand the language of his neighbor. And they did so unto them. And from that day following, they forgot each man his neighbor's tongue, and they could not understand to speak in one tongue. And when the builder took from the hands of his neighbor lime or stone, which he did not order, the builder would cast it away and throw it upon his neighbor, that he would die.
All right, now that's okay. What we talking about? The same scripture we read that we just read in Genesis 11. Same scripture. I just went there to show that, right? Now do me a favor. Now I need you to jump down to oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I forgot the reference too. In that 32nd verse, it let us know. Remember, it said in Genesis 11, they told us, let us. The Most High said, let us go down and confound the language. All right, right here is telling you that it was 70 angels that went down and confound the language. Sorry about that. All right, now jump down to the 10th chapter in the first verse.
And you were confused that let us.
Yeah.
Going back to Genesis 1.
Yeah.
Let us make man in our likeness and our image.
Jasher chapter 10 and verse 1. And Peleg, the son of Eber, the son of Eber, died in those days, in the 40th year of the life of Abram, son of Terah. And all the days of Peleg were 239 years.
Now, hold on. We talking about Eber here. Peleg was the son of Eber. Okay, we talking about what? The division of the nations. Abraham was a what? Hebrew. Abraham was a Hebrew. So let's get Eber out of the Strong's Concordance. Let's go to Strong's Concordance, Hebrew, H5680. H5680. Strong.
Yeah, but I need a thing so I can click on it.
Okay, well, that's all right. We'll do it here. Do it old school. Do it old school. Let's go here. Eber, H5680. H5680. Orange and yellow. Right there, 5680.
Okay. 5680.
Oh, hold on. 56 what? 77. 56 77.
5677. Eber. The same as 5676. Eber. The name of the two patriarchs and four Israelites. Eber. Heber.
Heber. You go, if, okay, go to, it says it's from where? From, the same as 5676, read that.
56.
Right there, yeah.
56. Eber. From 5674. A region across, but used only an adjective which or without a preposition on the opposite side, especially of the Jordan.
Now this is where they go to confusion. Because what they'll say is they'll say the word Eber means to cross over as the other side of a river, the Jordan or the Euphrates. They're trying to stir that up. But what they're not saying is Eber means to cross over from the flood. That's the language that crossed over from the flood. Eber is Hebrew. Read 5680. Let's show you. 5680, H5680.
5680. Patron. From 5677. And Eberite.
A child of Eber, a son of Eber.
Or descendant.
A descendant of Eber, which Abraham is. Go ahead.
Or descendant of Eber. Hebrew.
What?
Hebrew.
Heber and Hebrew. Eber is Hebrew. That's where the word comes from. Okay? So they don't want us to know that that's the language of creation. We're going to show you that. That's the language. Hebrew is the language of creation. That's the language that crossed over from the other side of the flood. That's the language that everyone was speaking before the Most High came and split the tongues. That's right. Come on. No, you ain't got to.
Back over here.
Yeah, we can get rid of that. Let's go and finish that. Down to the 3rd verse.
This is book of Jasher, chapter 10 and verse 2. And when the Most High has scattered the sons of men on account of their sin at the tower, behold, they spread forth into many divisions, and all the sons of men were dispersed into the 4 corners of the earth. And all the families became each according to its language.
Became what?
According to its language.
See that? So the people begin to be identified by their language. That was their inheritance, their land, their language. That's it.
Yeah. Became each according to its language, its land, or its city.
See? That was their inheritance, their language and their land. Okay? So now let's go to Jubilees 12 and 16. You up next. I see you bored. We're going to get you reading. Jubilees, chapter 12 and verse 16.
It's book of Jubilees, chapter 12 and verse 16. And in the 6th week, in the 5th year thereof, Abram sat up
Who was sitting there?
Abram.
Now we go into this verse just to show you that this is Abraham. All right, go ahead. Just finish that verse out and then jump down to 24.
Abram sat up throughout the night on the new moon of the 7th month to observe the stars from the evening to the morning, in order to see what would be the character of the year which regard to the rains. And he was alone as he sat and observed. Jump down to where?
Jump down to the 24th verse. Now listen, I went there just to show that this is the context, or the person that's being referenced here is Abraham. All right, go ahead.
Verse 24. And I shall be a God to thee and thy son, and to thy son's son, and to all that see. Fear not, from henceforth and into all generations of the earth, I am thy God.
This is Abraham the Most High is talking to. Go ahead.
And the Most High said, open his mouth and his ears, that he may hear and speak with his mouth, with the language which has been revealed. For it has ceased from the mouths of all the children of men from the day of the overthrow of Babel.
You see that? So this language, when the Most High came and split the tongues, get rid of, hey, y'all lost that privilege. Because y'all was using this trying to do what? Y'all was using this one language that I brought forth from creation to try to come against me. So he said, open Abraham's mouth, go ahead.
Verse 26. And I opened his mouth and his ears and his lips, and I began to speak with him in Hebrew, in the tongue of the creation.
And what?
In the tongue of the creation.
Hebrew is the tongue of creation, the language of creation. They don't want you to know that that's what it means. Eber means to cross over, because that was the language from the beginning. That's the language that the Most High spoke everything into existence with. Hebrew. They don't want us to know that. Abraham was a Hebrew. This is why he was a Hebrew. All right. Abraham was not Judah. He was not a Jew. There was no such religion as Judaism when Abraham was on earth. Right. Wasn't nobody bowing to doing that stuff they doing over there. They probably was, that ancient bull junk. They just following the gods of their fathers. Yeah, it was called something different at that time. All right, you finished? Where you at?
We're going to 27.
Yeah.
Verse 27. And he took the books of his fathers, and these were written in Hebrew.
In Hebrew. Even the books that came from the other side of the flood, that Abraham got, the books of his fathers, were written in Hebrew. Enoch, written in Hebrew. Come on.
And he's transcribed them, and he began from henceforth to study them. And I made known to him that which he could not understand. And he studied them during the 6 rainy months.
Wait a minute. What? That's crazy right there, right? I don't know what you know, a place that got 6 rainy months. We're gonna have to figure that out. We're gonna have to figure that out. All right, so this is why Abraham was called a Hebrew. This is why Abraham was called the Hebrew. All right, he was not called the Jew. All right. So let's find out when the Jews came about, or the word Jew that we know today. Genesis 29.
Book of Genesis, chapter 29, verse 31. And when the Most High saw that Leah was hated, he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren. And Leah conceived and bare a son. And she called his name Reuben, for she said, surely the Most High hath looked upon my affliction. Now therefore my husband will love me. And she conceived again and bare a son, and said, because the Most High hath heard that I was hated, he hath therefore given me this son also. She called his name Simon or Simeon. And she conceived again and bare a son, and said, Now this time will my husband be joined unto me, because I have borne him 3 sons. Therefore was his name called Levi. And she conceived again and bare a son. And she said, Now will I praise the Most High. Therefore she called his name Judah, and left bearing.
Okay, so this is the first time you hear of a word Judah. The first time. Okay, these are the children, the grandchildren of Abraham. These are grandchildren of Abraham. So these people this person Judah didn't come along until after Abraham. Abraham couldn't have been called a Jew. As a matter of fact, nobody was called a Jew back then. Wasn't nobody called a Jew back then? There were no Jews when Judah was born, because there were no letter J's when Judah was born. Okay. Huh? His name, some say Yehuda, some say Yehudi, some say Yahwadah. All right. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. All right, so yeah, there were no Jews. All right, there were no letter J's. Okay. As a matter of fact, you know what? I can't go into that because I ain't got the PowerPoint. All right, yeah, so we can't go into that. I wanted to go in deeper to that. All right, so this is when Judah was born. All right, so basically today you hear people say Jew. All right, there was only one tribe that could ascribe to the word Jew. Later on down the line, you had people that came from Judea, which was the southern kingdom. We'll get into that later. And all 3 of those tribes were called Judah. We'll get into that later. We're getting there. All right. So this is the 4th son of Jacob and Leah. The 4th son of Jacob and Leah, Judah. This is where Judah come from. All right, it don't come from Abraham. So you can't stake claim to a religion through Abraham that didn't exist or didn't exist by that name at that time and say you were a Jew through Abraham. Abraham wasn't a Jew. Abraham didn't practice Judaism. So you can't do that. It's impossible. All right, so
Neither can you stake that claim from any other tribe, any of the Northern Kingdom tribes.
exactly.
See?
Exactly.
You can't stake it from Israel. You can't stake it from Hebrew, and you really can't stake it from Israel unless you're really dealing with one tribe or the 3 tribes that was together as one tribe.
And the other 2 tribes will be able to distinguish themselves. They'll say, I'm a Jew from Judea. All right. That's all. Because you're from Judea, you're a Jew, but they would understand that they Levi. They would understand that they were Benjamin. They would understand that.
And even Paul cleared it up himself.
Yeah.
When he said that he was of the tribe of Benjamin.
He said he's an Israelite.
Yeah.
Of the tribe of Benjamin.
Paul did not say he was a Jew. Right? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So ethnic people from the ethnic tribe of Judah are Jews. Okay. And I know a lot of people out there would stake a religion. Listen here. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. You can say that's crazy, because the thing is this. If I was trying to claim anybody else's nationality, their race, because I was their religion, man, please, they'd be like, it'll be a free fall. They'll be able to go off on me, you know.
How dare you?
Exactly. How dare you? You know, the fact that they scared to actually come out and say that we not the Jews,
Right.
and come and talk to us and have a public talk about this, that lets you know. It lets you know. It speaks volumes. It speaks volumes that they don't even want to come and deal with us.
They'd rather say anti-Semitism.
Right, and that's another thing too, because when you go into the word, what was that, Hebrew? All right, after a while, the Hebrew is a Semitic language. Any of the people who came from Eber, who came from Shem, can be Semitic or Shemitic, Arabs, you know, Assyrians. The people, what was that, Ashurites, Midianites?
And to be honest with you, even Edomites.
Edomites,
You know,
Ishmaelites. These people are Semitic. So you can't have one people from the line of Shem staking claim to Semitic. No. So if you speak against an Arab, or if you speak against anybody that comes from the line of Shem, you should be deemed anti-Semitic. And the same violation that would go for this one people should be for the others too, because they come from Shem, right? But that's not the case. It's not the case. That's not the case. All right, we got Judah. I just wanted to go there to show y'all Judah. All right, now let's go to the pedigree. Let's deal with bloodline. Let's go to Numbers 1. Then after that, we go to Ezra. We go to Ezra in the Bible. Numbers 1.
the book of Numbers, chapter 1.
And I know I'm going, let's try to speed up. This is my fault. Come on, let's speed up. Numbers chapter 1 and verse 1.
Numbers chapter 1, verse 1. And the Most High spake unto Moses in the wilderness of Sinai, in the tabernacle of the congregation, on the first day of the second month, in the second year, after they were come out of the land of Egypt, saying, take ye the sum of all the congregation of the children of Israel, after their families, by the house of their fathers.
After their families, the children of Israel, after their families, by the house of their fathers, not their mothers. Because that's another thing out there. They stake and claim, and these are fables that we're dealing with, Jewish fables. Okay, there's a claim that you can stake a lineage through a woman, and that ain't so. You can't do it. We're gonna show you that. After the house of what?
Their fathers.
Come on.
With the number of their names, every male by their polls, from 20 years old and upward, all that are able to go forth to war in Israel. Thou and Aaron shall number them by their armies. And with thou, there shall be a man of every tribe, every one head of the house of his father.
Of what?
Of his father.
Come on.
And these are the names of the men that shall stand with you.
Now jump down to, because we don't have to, I don't want to read those names. That's going to jump down to 16.
Verse 16. These were the renown of the congregation, princes of the tribes of their fathers, heads of thousands in Israel.
Princes of the tribes of their fathers. The tribes of who? Israel, the 12 tribes. Princes of the tribes of their fathers, heads of thousands. 17.
And Moses and Aaron took these men, which are expressed by their names. 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month. And they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward by their polls. Right? And the Most High commanded Moses. So he numbered them in the wilderness of Sinai.
So now you got what? Pedigree. The word pedigree. Let's deal with it. Let's get it in the Hebrew. It's H3205. And it just simply means lineage. Lineage. H3205. Lineage. Okay? And man's seed is what determines lineage. Okay? It's man's seed. All right? That's right. Hey, what woman got a seed? Women don't carry seed. All right. Let's go to Ezra 2 and 1. Ezra 2 and 1. Ezra 2 and 1. We're going to show the importance of lineage. Ezra 2 and 1. we're gonna move it fast. I'm trying to move it fast, man. Because I know we got this meeting.
You like some water? You gonna water?
I got some water, thank you.
Yeah, you good?
As with 201. Let me know when y'all there.
After Second Chronicles.
Before Nehemiah.
Old Testament. The book of Ezra, chapter 2, verse 1. Now these are the children of the prophets that went up out of the captivity.
The captivity, huh?
Now these are the children of the prophets that went up out of the captivity of those which led, or were those which had been carried away, whom Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, had carried away unto Babylon, and came again unto Jerusalem and Judah, everyone unto his city.
So these was Jews, right? These was Jews that was carried away, right? Let's jump down to the 58th verse. 58.
Verse 58. And the Nethinims and the children of Solomon's servants were 392. And these were they which went up from Telmea, Telharsa, Cherith, Adin, and Immer. But they could not show their father's house and their seed whether they were of Israel.
See, now these were priests. They couldn't show the seed. They couldn't prove that they were of the seed of the priesthood, so they had to forfeit that. They couldn't deal with it. That's how important the seed is. Okay? So I just went there, I just wanted to go there to show that, but keep reading. Keep reading.
Verse 60. The children of Deliah, the children of Tobiah, the children of Nekoda, 652. And of the children of the priests, the children of Tobiah, the children of Kaz, the children of Barzillai, which took a wife of the daughters of Barzillai, the Gileadite, the Gileadites, and was called after their name. These sought their register among those that were reckoned by genealogy, but they were not found. Therefore were they as polluted, put from the priesthood.
See, that's how important the seed was. Okay, so now you got people saying, okay, I come through this woman. I claim my lineage through this woman. How? And they over there claiming to be Levi. They Levites, right? But they claiming their lineage through a woman. Well, your seed polluted, Levi. You're not a Levite, because that ain't, you can't stake claim through a woman that don't even, it's not a seed. It's not a seed there. By the house of their fathers, that's right. Okay, so let's show that. Let's go to Leviticus 15. Let's go into the law. Leviticus 15 and 16. Leviticus 15 and 16. And then when we're done, we'll be getting close to where we need to be for the boy.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 15, verse 16. And if any man's seed of copulation go out from him, then he shall wash all his flesh in water.
Now, what's the seed of copulation? That's right. That's right. Read that one more time.
And if any man's seed of copulation,
if any who?
Man's seed.
Man's seed
of
copulation
go out from him. Then he shall wash all his flesh in water, and be unclean until the evening.
That's law. If any man's seed come out from him, and that seed get on him, he must wash himself. Go ahead.
And every garment and every skin whereupon is the seed of copulation shall be washed with water, and be unclean until the evening. The woman also with whom man shall lie, with seed of copulation, they shall both bathe themselves in water.
The woman, if she lie with a man and that seed get on her, she must wash herself. Okay, copulation means intercourse. Okay, seed means, in the Hebrew, the seed means seed. But when you go into the Greek, it means sperm. A man's sperm, and we're going to show you that. All right, in the Hebrew, seed is H2233, which means child, to conceive, or to be fruitful. Okay, and that only comes from a man. Seed, children. Not saying that the woman is not instrumental in it. She's definitely, you can't have one without the other. You know, but the thing is, that seed comes from a man. The lineage is determined by the man, the seed. All right.
And be unclean until even. Verse 19. And if a woman have an issue, and her issue in her flesh be blood, she shall be put apart 7 days, and whosoever touches her shall be unclean.
Sorry about that. We're supposed to stop at 18. That's cool. All right, let's go to Romans. Let's get seed out of the Greek. Let's go to Romans 1 and 3. Let's get seed in the Greek, and then we're gonna move on from the seed.
The book of Romans chapter 1 verse 3. Concerning his son Jesus Christ, or concerning his son Yashaya, Christ, our Lord, which was made of the seed of David.
The seed of man, the seed of David. Now let's get that in the Greek. While you're there, seed is G4690 in the Greek. G4690, which is sperma, the male sperm. Okay, so Christ was made of the seed of David, and that's another thing. How could Christ be of the tribe of Judah if he had no seed? If he had no father? Okay, if he had no physical father, how could he be of the tribe of Judah? When lineage is determined through man's seed.
And just to reiterate again, for people who think that we take away from Christ, remember, even in natural, which in seed, he would still have been king in the line of David anyway, if the kingship had continued.
Exactly. And not only that, that takes nothing away from Christ, because spiritually, get that, keep finishing.
According to the flesh.
So he was born of the seed of man according to the flesh. Go ahead.
And declared to be the Son of God, or the Most High, with power, according to the Spirit of holiness.
According to the Spirit, he was the Son of the Most High, because he was the first begotten Spirit that was created of the Father. Okay, he was the first Spirit. All right, that's what Christ was. Okay, so that don't take from Christ, and we can read that in the book of Colossians. Right. But let's move on, since we just dealing with seed. You got that, the fourth verse? 1 Chronicles 16. You finished that? You finished the fourth one? Okay.
By the resurrection from the dead.
Okay. 1 Chronicles 16 and 8. Right, let's try that. I keep saying this. I keep trying to get it. Holy. Yeah.
1 Chronicles chapter 16, verse 8. Give thanks unto the Most High. Call upon his name. Make known his deeds among the people. Sing unto him. Sing songs unto him. Take ye all his wondrous works. Talk ye of all his wondrous works. Glory ye in his holy name. Let the heart of them rejoice that seek the Most High. Seek the Most High and his strength. Seek his face continually. Remember his marvelous works that he have done, his wonders, and the judgments of his mouth.
So how do we remember those things if we ain't going in here and reading about it? We got to remember those things, right? How do we do it? We got to get in the book and read. We got to read. How often do you read? How often? Ask yourself that and deal with yourself on it. Come on.
O ye seed of Israel,
Oh,
his servant.
Oh, ye what?
Seed of Israel, his servant.
You seed, you children of Israel, his servant. Go ahead.
Ye children of Jacob, his chosen ones.
Most High talking to you, his seed. Jacob's seed. He's talking to you. Get in that book and read. Remember the works that he done for us in the past. All right? Seek you out the book of the Lord and read. I know some people just wait on the Sabbath to come just to hear some word. You know? That ain't no relationship with the Most High. How you gaining a relationship and you ain't getting understanding? Okay, that's a bastard child. Because a bastard child don't know their father. You understand? Get to know your father. Learn him. He know you. But your deeds keep you separated from him. For real. Let's deal with this too, real quick. And I don't want to deal with this because it's petty. But let's deal with it anyway, because this is something I heard this week. Let's go to Leviticus 24:10. I don't want to deal with it as petty, but let's just get it out the way. Because it's a topic. And then we're going to what we came for.
Leviticus chapter 24, verse 10. And the woman of an Israelitish woman, and the son of an Israelitish woman, whose father was an Egyptian.
Hold on, read that again.
And the son of an Israelitish woman, whose father was an Egyptian.
Because we got an argument out there, and they people are trying to stake claim to a nation or a nationality through the mother. Okay? Ish. Ish means what? Somewhat like, right? Now this woman is being called Israelitish. Now I heard there was an argument this week that I heard where it was people arguing about this woman here, talking about there's an Israelitish woman. What do you think that is? Well, that's a woman whose father is of another nation, but her mother is an Israelite. Okay? So she's Israelitish. All right? That seed is not Israel. Come on, read that again.
And the son of an Israelitish woman, whose father was an Egyptian, went out among the children of Israel. And this son of the Israelitish woman and a man of Israel strove together in the camp. And
that's where you're at. Okay, go ahead.
And the Israelitish woman's son blasphemed the name of the Most High and cursed. And they brought him unto Moses. And his mother's name was Shalom, the daughter of Debri, of the tribe of Dan.
Now her mother was of the tribe of Dan, but her father was an Egyptian. That makes her Israelitish because the seed is not of Israel. Okay? So there's an argument there. You know what I'm saying? They trying to argue that. So this show you right here. This show you right here in scripture. You can't claim lineage through the mother. Can't do it. All right? Now, what we're doing is rightly divide the truth. What we're not doing is like rejecting anyone. I don't want anybody to think that we don't deal with, you can't come and learn or, because you're not an Israelite. No, that's not what we're saying. But we have to defend the truth. We got to defend the truth. All right. So let's deal with something. Now let's take a turn here. Because now we're going into conversion. See, we had to knock down some of that stuff right there before we went into the conversions. All right. Because people are trying to stake claim to these things as to their basis of why they're converted. And then now the promises belong to them. Okay. So let's go to 1 Kings 11. 1 Kings 11 and 1. 1 Kings 11 and 1.
The book of 1 Kings, chapter 11, verse 1. But King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Sidonians, and Hittites, of the nations concerning which the Most High said unto the children of Israel, Ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you, for surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon clave unto these in love.
So now we dealing with Solomon's sin. So the Most High told Solomon, it didn't matter. Now, a lot of people will go here and they'll say Solomon was joining kingdoms. This is how he became so great. Yeah, that is. But at the same time, guess what? Guess what? The Most High gave Solomon instruction. He gave the whole nation instruction as to who he was supposed to marry and join with. Solomon went against that. The Most High didn't have a problem. Solomon dealing with all the women he want right here. That's not the Most High's beef. The Most High's beef with him is the women that he chose. Come on.
Verse 3.
And he, at first it was the women that he chose. Now then Solomon he went on way else. Go ahead.
Verse 3. And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart.
See, and the Most High told us that these nations would turn away our hearts from him. That's why he didn't want us to deal with them. Solomon did it anyway. Disobedience has always been our fault. Come on.
Verse 4. For it came to pass, when Solomon was old, that his wives turned away his heart after other gods, and his heart was not perfect with the Most High his God, as was the heart of David his father. For Solomon went after Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Zidonians.
For those that don't know, Ashtoreth is the same as Easter. When people celebrating Easter, a star, Ashtoreth, Astarte, it's the same goddess. It's the same goddess. And hey, look it up if you don't believe me. Google Easter. The pagan origins of Easter. Google it. Semiramis. Yeah. Come on.
And after Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites.
And Milcom is the same god that they're sacrificing babies to in orphanages. Not orphanages, sorry about that, but in Planned Parenthoods all throughout the U.S. Milcom is Moloch, same god. This is the consort to Astarte or Easter. Solomon went off. Solomon was sacrificing children. Clearly, if he going after these gods. Come on.
Verse 6. And Solomon did evil in the sight of the Most High, and went not fully after the Most High, as did David his father. Then did Solomon build an high place for Shamash, the abomination of Moab, in the hill that is before Jerusalem, and for Molech, the abomination of the children of Ammon.
Same gods. Go ahead.
And likewise did he for all his strange wives, which burnt incense and sacrificed unto their gods.
So Solomon going off dealing with everybody's God. Every woman he dealing with their God. Solomon went off. Come on.
And the Most High was angry with Solomon, because his heart was turned from the Most High God of Israel, which had appeared unto him twice, and had commanded him concerning this thing, that he should not go after other gods. But he kept not that which the Most High commanded. Wherefore the Most High said unto Solomon, For as much as this is done of thee, and thou hast not kept my covenant and my statutes, which I have commanded thee, I will surely rend the kingdom from thee, and will give it to thy servant. Notwithstanding, in thy days I will not do it for David thy father's sake, but I will rend it out of the hand of thy son.
Now rend means what? To tear. So the Most High is telling Solomon, I'm going to tear the kingdom from you. I'm going to split it. There's going to be a separation in the kingdom. Under Solomon and under David and under Saul, the kingdom was one. The kingdom was one. We was the nation of Israel and we was living in unity. Okay, after this sin that Solomon dealing with, the Most High said, I'm gonna tear the kingdom in two. Come on. And this is where we're going. We're going here to show where the prophecy was that the kingdom will be split. Then we're going to go to show the kingdom being split. All right, now we must go here in order to show the first conversion. Come on.
Verse 13, howbeit, I will not rend away all the kingdom, but will give one tribe to thy son, for David my servant's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, which I have chosen. And the Most High stirred up an adversary unto Solomon.
Right? So now let's go to 2 Kings chapter 17. And we ain't got to read all that. I did want to read a little more, but we can go, we can start at 17. 2 Kings 17:17. All right, so that's the prophecy. That's the Most High saying he was going to split the kingdom. Now the kingdom was split under Solomon's Jeroboam and Rehoboam. Yeah, it was split at that point. But now we're going to see the carrying away of the northern kingdom. And we're going to try to identify to some degree the northern kingdoms. Not by tribe, but just to some degree. 17:17.
Book of 2 Kings, chapter 17, verse 17. And they caused their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire, and use divination and enchantments, and sold themselves to do evil in the sight of the Most High, to provoke him to anger. Therefore the Most High was very angry with Israel, and removed them out of his sight. There was none left but the tribe of Judah only.
Now, when it say there was none left but the tribe of Judah only, that's not talking about the tribe Judah. It's talking about the southern kingdom, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Okay, the northern kingdom, the Most High was angry with. They fell into idolatry. The same worships that Solomon was dealing with, the northern kingdom got to deal with. All right, so the Most High said he had to move them out of his sight. 19.
Also Judah kept not the commandments of the Lord their God, but walked in the statutes of Israel, which they made.
That was later on. The Most High gonna remove them too at a later date, but go ahead.
And the Most High rejected all the seed of Israel, and afflicted them, and delivered them into the hand of spoilers, until he had cast them out of his sight.
Now he said the Most High had rejected all of the seed of Israel. Okay, that's the northern kingdom. So that was a lineal rejection. Okay, that wasn't, you can't say, hey, I'm Abraham. No, that was the seed of Israel. The Most High rejected. Come on.
Verse 21. For he rent Israel from the house of David, and they made Jeroboam.
And hold on, he tore Israel. He split Israel from the house of David. So you got David, which is the southern kingdom, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, and Israel. They were torn. Go ahead.
The son of Nebat, king, and Jeroboam drave Israel from following the Most High, and made them sin a great sin.
And Jeroboam was the king of the northern kingdom. He was the king of Israel. Rehoboam was the king of Judah, the southern kingdom. Okay, so Jeroboam began to follow in the same worships as Solomon. And so the northern kingdom got to following them too. And so they turned on the Most High. So the Most High said, hey, I got to remove y'all out of my sight. Y'all got to get up out of here. Come on.
Verse 22. For the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam, which he did. They departed not from them, until the Most High removed Israel out of his sight, as he had said by all his servants, the prophets.
And we read that in Kings, right? There was a prophecy that he was going to rent the kingdom, right? The kingdom was split. Now you got what going on? The northern kingdom getting ready to be carried away captive. Come on.
So was Israel carried away out of their own land to Assyria unto this day.
To Assyria to this day. Go ahead.
And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon, and from Cutha, and from Ava, and from Hamath, and from Samaria, and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel. And they possessed Samaria and dwelt in the cities thereof.
Now Samaria is northern Israel. Okay? Samaria is northern Israel. So now you got the Syrian king, Salmanassar, replacing Israel. He taking Israelites, the northern kingdom, out and placing Syrians in the land. You got a word there, Sepharvaim. Okay? You got a word Sepharvaim there. Okay, you got two sects of Jews today that they claim, right? You got Ashkenazi and you have Sephardic Jews. Okay? These people are posers. That's what the words say, right?
Remember, this is the first conversion.
This is the first conversion. All right, this is the first conversion, and we're going to prove that this was a conversion because people don't know. Right. This right here, right now, is just saying people was placed in the land, but we're going to prove right here that this was a conversion. All right, keep reading. Go to 25. Yeah.
Verse 25. And so it was at the beginning of their dwelling there that they feared not the Most High.
So hold up. When they first got there, they didn't fear the Most High, right? Go ahead.
Therefore, the Most High sent lions among them, which slew them, or some of them. Wherefore they spake to the king of Assyria, saying, the nations which thou hast removed and placed in the cities of Samaria know not the manner of the God of the land.
So they didn't know the Most High. So they didn't understand how to live in that land. The Most High was sending plagues upon them because they was doing all of they was defiling the land.
No, they ain't gonna get it.
Exactly. So let's see what their resolve was.
Therefore, he hath sent lions among them, and behold, they slay them, because they know not the manner of the God of the land.
27.
Then the king of Assyria commanded, saying, carry thither one of the priests, whom ye brought from this.
So now hold up. Now go get one of the priests. Because remember, Levi lived everywhere. The Levites, right? But they were predominantly Judea. All right. Go ahead.
And let them go and dwell there. And let him teach them the manner of the God of the land.
You see that? Let this priest go and teach them how to live under this God in this land. Go ahead.
Then one of the priests, whom they had carried away from Samaria, came and dwelt in Bethel, and taught them how they should fear the Most High.
He taught them how to fear the Most High. Taught them how to serve the Most High. Go ahead.
Howbeit, every nation made gods of their own, and put them in the houses of the high places which the Samaritans had made, every nation in their city wherein they dwelt. And the men of Babylon,
Jump down to 32.
verse 32. So they feared the Most High, and made unto themselves of the lowest of them priests of the high places, and which sacrifice for them in the house of the high places.
Go ahead, 33.
They feared the Most High and served their own gods.
So they dealing with the Most High, they lukewarm. They dealing with the Most High and dealing with their own gods. This was a conversion. Later on, you're going to find these people staking claim to Abraham. And guess what? Some of them children of Abraham too. They was right. But they trying to take the promise. You're going to see it. Come on. Where you at? 33?
After the manner of the nations whom they carried away from this.
So now they dealing with their own guys and they trying to deal with the Most High at the same time. They dealing with the Most High just enough so he don't destroy them off the land. All right. So now we can go into Josephus. Josephus. Let's get a historical reference out of Josephus. Antiquities, book 9, chapter 14 and verse book 9, chapter 14 and 1. Book 9, 14 and 1. Book 9, 14 and 1. Yeah, that's it. Book 9, 14 and 1. You gotta lift your voice up too. Lift your voice up.
Right here, right? Verse 1. When Shalmaneser, is that right?
Salmanassar.
When Shalmaneser, the king of Assyria, had it told him that the king of Israel had sent privately to Saul, the king of Egypt, desiring his assistance against him, he was very angry and made an expedition against Samaria in the 7th year of the reign of Hosea. But when he was not admitted into the city by the king, he besieged Samaria 3 years, and it took it by force in the 9th year of the reign of Hosea. And in the 7th year of Hezekiah, king of Jerusalem, and quite demolished the government of the Israelites and transplanted all the people in Media and Persia, among whom he took King Hosea alive. And when he had removed these people out of their land, he transplanted other nations out of Kuta, a place so called for there is still a river of that name in Persian, to Samaria and into the other country of the Israelites. So the 10 tribes of the Israelites were removed out of Judea 947 years after the forefathers were come out of the land of Egypt and possessed themselves out of the country. But 800 years after Joshua had been their leader, and as I have already observed, 240 years, 7 months and 7 days after they revolted from Rehoboam, the grandson of David, and had given the kingdom of Jeroboam. And such a conclusion took the Israelites when they had transgressed the laws and would not hearken to the prophets, who foretold that this calamity would come upon them if they would not leave off their evil doings. What gave birth to these evil doings was that rebellion which they raised against Rehoboam, the grandson of David, when they set up Jeroboam, his servant, to be the king, when by sinning against the Most High and bringing them to imitate his bad example, to make the Most High to be their enemy, while Jeroboam underwent that punishment which he justly deserved.
Now look, jump down to the 3rd paragraph. It's numbered 3, paragraph 3.
Okay.
Read there.
But now the Kuthians, who were moved in Samaria, for that is the name they have been called to this time, because they were brought out of the country called Kuta, went in the country of Persia, and there is a river of the same name in it. Each of them according to their nations, which were in number 5, brought their own gods into Samaria, and by worshiping them as was the custom of their own countries, they provoked Almighty God to be angry and displeased at them. For a plague seized upon them, by which they were destroyed, and when they found no cure for their miseries, they learned by the oracle that they ought to worship Almighty God as the method for their deliverance. So they sent ambassadors to the king of Assyria and desired him to send some of those priests of Israel, of the Israelites whom he had taken captive. And when thereupon sent them, and the people were by them taught the laws and the holy worship of God, they worshipped him in a respectful manner, and the plague ceased immediately. And indeed, they continue to make use of the very same customs to this very time, and are called in the Hebrew tongue Kuthians, but in the Greek tongue Samaritans. And when they see the Jews and prosperity.
Now listen to this part. When they see the Jews in prosperity, read.
They pretend that they are changed and lie to them.
So when they clout chase. When they see the Jews living good and in prosperity, they want to be down with that. So they cling to the Jews like, yeah, I'm your brother. I'm from where you from. Same line, Abraham. Go ahead, baby.
And call them kinsmen, as though
They
they
call them what?
kinsmen,
Kinsmen. Go ahead.
as though they were derived from Joseph.
As though they came from Joseph. See? You see that? Joseph is writing all of this stuff down. Go ahead.
And had by that mean an original alliance with them. But when they see them falling into low condition, they say they are no way related to them. And that the Jews have no right to expect any kindness or marks of family from them. But they declare that they are sojourners that come from other countries. But of these we shall have a more seasonable opportunity to discourse hereafter.
Yeah. So that's what they do. Okay, yeah, the Most High blessing y'all. But then as soon as they see the curses come, oh, curse. Slave, captive, slave ship. No. Colonialism? Nah, I don't want to deal with that. Nah. Right. They don't want to deal with it. Second Esdras, let's deal with this though. Let's go to Second Esdras 13. Second Esdras 13 and 39. Second Esdras 13 and 39.
They ain't got no address on here.
You ain't got no address on there, man?
I don't know.
Dang, boy.
They say not available in this translation.
What translation? A KJV 1611? Wow.
The book of Second Esdras, chapter 13, verse 39.
Mhm.
And whereas thou sawest that he gathered another peaceable multitude unto him.
Mhm. Now,
Oh, you read that?
what it says, where he gathered another peaceable multitude unto them, unto him, okay? Now, there's some misunderstanding when you go into the New Testament and you get people, it's a scripture. Give me St. John 10 and 14. St. John 10 and 14. Real quick. St. John 10 and 14. Yeah.
The book of John, chapter 10 and verse 14.
Yep, come on.
I am the good shepherd, and I know my sheep, and I'm known of mine. As the Father knoweth me, even so know I the Father. I lay down my life for the sheep, and other sheep I have, which are not of this fold.
So Christ said, other sheep I have, which are not of this fold. Understand that this time, remember, the northern kingdom was carried away. When Christ came and he was talking to the people, there was only the tribe of Judah, the southern kingdom. So Christ said, what? Read that again for me. The 15th verse. No, 16.
Verse 16. And other sheep I have, which are not of this fold. Them also I must bring, and they shall hear my voice, and there shall be one fold and one shepherd.
And there will be one fold and one shepherd. That's Christ talking about reuniting the tribes. All right. So let's go back to Second Esdras 13 and 39. Because that's no. Let's go to St. John 7 and 33 first. And then Second Esdras. Let's deal with that.
7:33.
Yeah, St. John 7 and 33.
Book of John, chapter 7 and verse 33. Then Yashaya said unto them, yet a little while am I with you, and then I go unto him that sent me. Ye shall seek me, and shall not find me, and where I am, thither ye cannot come.
So Christ is saying, hey, you ain't gonna find me, right? Now go to 35, and let's see what the Jews said.
Verse 35. Then said the Jews among themselves.
These are ethnic Jews. These are ethnic Jews speaking amongst themselves. Go ahead.
Whither will he go that we shall not find him? Whither he go unto the dispersed among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles.
So our people were dispersed amongst the Gentiles. And to what? Teach the Gentiles. The Gentiles are our people. Why? Because they were broken, they were cut off. This is the northern kingdom.
And that gives evidence to the northern kingdom being carried away. See, now in Christian church, normally, when they say go to the Gentiles and teach them first also, they don't go into that to tell you exactly what that means, to tell you about the northern tribes being carried away. Yeah.
Well, I thought you was about to pull something out. All right, let's go back to 2nd Ezra 2, or 2nd Ezra 13 and 39. Let's go back there. Let's read that now with the understanding that we have, and down to 46.
2nd Ezra, chapter 13, verse 39. And whereas thou sawest that he gathered another peaceable multitude unto him.
Now this is Christ gathering the tribes. Come on.
Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea, or which is Hosea, the king.
And that's what we just read in Josephus. Come on.
Whom Salmanasseh, the king of Assyria, led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. But they took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country, where never mankind dwelt. Where never mankind dwelt.
So this is a place where never mankind dwelt. This would be a place called the New World. Okay? Where never mankind dwelt. Go ahead.
That they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land. And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river. For the Most High then showed signs for them, and held still the flood, till they were passed over.
So the Most High began to show them signs. He created what for signs? He created the constellations. He began to guide them by the signs in the sky. He stilled the waters until they made it over. Go ahead.
For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half, and the same region is called Arshur.
Now, I was trying to put together a PowerPoint for this, and I had so many points put together. That's why it's coming out a little slow. But I had so many points put together, but like I said, my computer is down. I got 2 computers down, and my third one is acting up. Then we had a power outage today. So yeah, I was trying to put that together, and I had a lot of I was going into the Jewish encyclopedia. I was going into certain books, you know, the 10 lost tribes of that sort. I had a bunch of things I was going into. But since, you know, we had that situation happen, I don't know, maybe we might revamp this one time, you know what I'm saying, and go back to it. So that way we can bring it forth with better understanding. But Arzareth, according to the Jewish encyclopedia, it'll actually go into telling you that Christopher Columbus, when he set out to go and find the New World, he was looking for the northern 10 tribes. He was looking for the 10 tribes. He went over into Arzareth, to the Americas. All right. That's the Jewish encyclopedia. I got some other things too that I wanted to bring out, but I can't, so I apologize. But go ahead, come on, man.
Verse 46. Then dwelt they there until the latter time.
Until what?
Until the latter time.
Until the last days. Go ahead.
And now, when they shall begin to come, the highest shall stay the springs of the springs again, that they may go through. Therefore sawest thou the multitude with peace.
And that's what it is. So they're going to be returned. They're coming back to the Most High. All right. Yeah, I wanted to go into that a little deeper.
Christ called back to himself. Still calling the house of Israel those that were scattered, or what they just said in John, the dispersed.
Yeah. And I wanted to go into that a little deeper. Now, these tribes, these people, they was gone 300 years or so before Christ even came on the scene. They was gone. All right? Well, hold on. Matter of fact, 700, 721 BC, they was gone way before Christ came. All right? I'm mistaking that with the Greeks.
And
Right.
and while we're right there on that point, it's noteworthy to know that now, when you see this, and these people are really considered Gentiles at this point, that when Paul talks about Gentiles, he's not really always talking about people who are not really Israelites, but Gentiles who were Israelites who were carried away and considered Gentiles.
And we going into that once we go into the Greek conversion. Once we go into the conversions dealing with the Greeks, we'll go into that more in depth, but that's true. That's definitely true. All right, so we can't really go into what I wanted to go into as we, like we did. I don't have this, so I can't deal with that. All right, that's frustrating. All right, let's just go to First Maccabees. Man, I wish I would have. Yeah, now we just gotta skim all the way through. Let's just go to First Maccabees 1. 1 and 1.
First Maccabees.
So we dealt with, and I just went into the Northern Kingdom. I wanted to go in there to end. All right, kind of sort of end that, but we're gonna go back to that. Let me see. Before we move on, I don't want to move on. Let's do this. Since we talk about, do I want to do that? I'm sorry, man. No, let's just keep it. Let's just do it like we do. Sure, I think. I'm sure, I think. Come on, let's do it. Let's just do it like we do it. Let's just move like we move. And like I said, I know it's people probably in here like wondering, like, dang, what's going on? Man, we had a tie, from cars breaking down all the way until power outages. So it was hard for us to really come together today. That's why we're doing it so late. And it just set everything back, but we working with what we got. So First Maccabees 1 and 1. Let's do that.
First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece. And
hold on. The first over Greece. So now this is Alexander. All right, now we bringing the Greeks in. All right, Alexander. Some people, did you know Alexander the Greek or Alexander the Great was written of in the Bible? He's right here in the Apocrypha in the book of Maccabees. You can also read about him in the book of Daniel. We're gonna read about him in the book of Daniel. No. All right. First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 1. We read that, right? Son of Philip the Macedonian. So we getting right now Josephus. Book 11, chapter 8, paragraph 1. Antiquities. Sorry about that. Antiquities of the Jews. Book 11, chapter 8, verse 1.
About this time.
Paragraph 1. No, this is Josephus. This is history. We're in Josephus.
About this time, it was that Philip, king of Macedon.
Hey, where'd my book go? Give it here. Well, you could have got up in there. I know it's about to die, but dang. Hold on, man. What page you on?
382.
382. Let me get there with you so I can make sure we're on point. All right, 382. Now I want you to just read that number 1. Go ahead.
About this time, it was that Philip, king of Macedon, was treacherously assaulted and killed at Ige by Pasonians, the son of Certes, who was derived from the family of Oresti, and his son Alexander succeeded him in the kingdom, who passing over the Hellespont overcame the generals in Darius' army. In a battle fought the Granicum. So he marched over Lydia and subdued Ionia, and overran Korea, and fell upon the places of Pamphylia, and has been related elsewhere.
Now, all right, so we just read the same thing right there. Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian. It shows you also that he reigned instead of his father, and he smited Darius. Right? He took down King Darius, right? Now go to the next page, man. All right, start at the fourth, but paragraph number 325. Start at paragraph 325, where it said in the middle of it, where it says now Alexander.
Okay. Now Alexander, when he had taken Gaza, hurried to go up to Jerusalem, and Jaddua, the high priest, when he heard that, was in agony and under terror, as not knowing how he should meet the Macedonians, since the king was displeased at his foregoing disobedience. He therefore ordained that the people should make supplications and should join with him in offering sacrifice to God, whom he begged to protect the nation and to deliver them from the perils that were coming up upon them. Whereupon the Most High warned him in a dream.
So Alexander is having a dream. The Most High warned Alexander in a dream. It's written in history. I know this is a little boring, but it's necessary. Come on.
Which came up upon him after he offered a sacrifice, that he should take courage and adorn the city, and open the gates, that the rest should appear in white garments, but that he and the priest should meet the king in the habits proper to their order, without the dread of any ill consequences, which the providence of the Most High will prevent. Upon which, when he rose from his seat, he greatly rejoiced, and declared all the warning he had received from the Most High, according to which dream he acted entirely, and so waited for the coming of the king.
All right, so go ahead.
And when he understood that he was not far from the city, he went out in procession with the priests and the multitude of the citizens. The procession was venerable, and the manner of it different from that the other nations. It reached to a place called Sappho, which name translated into Greek signifies a prospect, for you have from there a prospect both of Jerusalem and of the temple. And when the Phoenicians and the Chaldeans that followed him, though thought they should have liberty to plunder the city and torment the high priest to death, when the king's displeasure fairly promised them, they very reverse of it happened. For Alexander, he saw the multitude at a distance in white garments, while the priest stood clothed with fine linen.
Right, so when the priest had the dream, and the Most High let him know, hey, y'all got them white garments on when you see the king approaching, right? Now Alexander is coming, and he see the priest in white garments. Go ahead. While the priest stood, 331.
Okay. And for Alexander, when he saw the multitude at a distance in white garments, while the priest stood clothed with fine linen, and the high priest in purple and scarlet clothing, with his mitre on his head, having the golden plate whereon the name of the Most High was engraved, and it approached him by himself, and adored that name, and first saluted the high priest. The Jews also did it all together, with one voice, salute Alexander, and encompass him about, whereupon the kings of Syria and the rest were surprised at what Alexander had done, and supposed he disordered in his mind. However, Parmenio, alone went up to him and asked him how it came to pass that when all the others adored him, he should adore the high priest of the Jews, to whom he replied.
Read down to 337. Read down to 337.
All right. I did not adore him, but the Most High, who had honored him, was his high priesthood. For I saw this very person in a dream, in this very habit, when I was at Dios in Macedonia, but when I was considering with myself how I might obtain the dominion of Asia, exhorted me to make no delay, but boldly pass over the sea there. For that he would conduct my army and would give me the dominion over the Persians. Thus is that, having seen no other in the habit, and now seeing the person in it, and remembering that vision and the exhortation which I had in my dream, I believe that I brung this army under the divine conduct, and shall with it conquer Darius and destroy his power, and destroy the power of the Persians, and that all things will succeed according to what is in my own mind.
So Alexander received a dream too. All right, and that's why he didn't go against the priests. Go ahead, 336.
When he had said this to Firminio,
Now remember, the Syrians is in the northern kingdom, and the Syrians asked to be able to take over the whole. They wanted everything. But watch this. 336. Go ahead.
and given the high priest his oath, the priest ran along by him, and he came into the city. And when he went up into the temple, he offered a sacrifice to the Most High, according to the high priest's direction, and magnificently treated both the high priest and the priest.
So the Most High gave Israel favor. He gave our people favor under the king. Go ahead, 337.
And when the book of Daniel was showed him, wherein Daniel declared that one of the Greeks should destroy the empire of the Persians, he supposed that he himself was the person intended. As he was then glad, he dismissed the multitude of the present, for the present. But the next day he called them to him and directed them to ask what favors they pleased him.
All right, so that's 337. All right, so check that out. Most High granted mercy. Let's go to Daniel 8 and 20, and let's see what Alexander was reading about himself. Alexander read a scripture concerning himself that he saw in the book that the priest showed.
The book of Daniel, chapter 8, verse 20. The realm which thou sawest, having two horns, are the kings of Media and Persia.
Now the kings of Media and Persia, this was Darius's kingdom. Go ahead.
And the rough goat is the king of Grecia.
The king of Grecia was Alexander. So the priest was breaking down this prophecy to Alexander at the time. Go ahead.
And the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king. Now that being broken, whereas four stood up for it.
Now that first king was Alexander. After Alexander died, his four generals took his place. Come on.
4 kingdoms shall stand up out of the nation, but not in his power.
But not in Alexander's power, because he's gonna be dead. It'll be his 4 generals. This is what they was showing Alexander. Go ahead.
And in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full.
At the last days, go ahead.
A king of fierce countenance.
Oh, the last days of their kingdom. This is talking about Antiochus. This is going into Antiochus Epiphanes. Go ahead.
And understanding dark sentences shall stand up.
Yeah.
And his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. And he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper and practice.
He shall practice dealing with witchcraft. Sorcery. Go ahead.
And shall destroy the mighty and holy people. And through his policy, also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand.
Through his policy. Go ahead.
and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many.
By peace, he shall destroy many, coming peaceably, sending people to come in a peaceful posture, but coming in and just destroying from the inside. Go ahead.
He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand.
Broken.
And the vision of the evening and the morning, which was told, is true. Wherefore shut thou up the vision, for it shall be for many days. And I, Daniel, fainted, and was sick certain days. Afterward I rose up and did the king's business, and I was astonished at the vision, but none understood it.
All right, now good. This is what the priest showed Alexander. Can you read here 38 and down? Now watch this. Now remember, when we in good case, the Sumerians, the ones that was converted, they all on us. They clout chasing, right? Let's read that.
38, right?
Yeah. This is now we in what? We in Josephus. We back in Josephus. Book 14, right?
Book 11.
Book 11. Book 11,
Chapter 8.
chapter 8, and paragraph what? 338?
338.
Yeah.
Whereupon the high priest desired that they might enjoy the laws of their forefathers, and might pay no tribute on the 7th year. He granted all they desired.
So because they was able to break down this prophecy to Daniel and show Daniel that he would be the one to take down Darius and the Persians, right? This is what Alexander is granting to the priests. Go ahead.
And when they entreated him that he would permit the Jews in Babylon and Media to enjoy their own laws also, he willingly promised to do hereafter what they desired. And when he said to the multitude that if any of them would enlist themselves in his army, on this condition, that they should continue under the laws of their forefathers and live accordingly to them, he was willing to take them with him. Many were ready to accompany him in his wars. You going?
Yeah.
So when Alexander had thus settled matters at Jerusalem, he led his army into the neighboring cities. And when all the inhabitants to whom he came received him with great kindness, the Samaritans.
The Samaritans. Now this is the Samaritans. These are the people that was placed in our land, the converts. Watch this.
Who had then Shechem for their metropolis, a city situated at Mount Gerizim, and inhabited by apostates of the Jewish nation, seeing that Alexander had so greatly honored the Jews, determined to profess themselves Jews.
You see that? Determined to profess themselves Jews. All right? These people calling themselves Jews. Go ahead.
For such is the disposition of the Samaritans, as we have already elsewhere declared, that when the Jews are in adversity, then deny that they are of kin to them, and then they confess the truth. But when they
Hold on. Then what? Read that again.
And then they confess the truth.
And then they confess the truth. Go ahead.
But when they perceived that some good fortune had befallen them, they immediately pretend to have communion with them, saying that they belong to them and derive their genealogy from the posterity of Joseph, Ephraim, and Manasseh.
You see that? So this ain't nothing new. This ain't nothing new. See, these people was in our land staking claim to our lineage, claiming to be us. So they took the real Israelites out and put some fake ones in. And now they over there, whenever we in prosperity, they down with us. But whenever we fall, they like, look, I don't know them. No, I came from Syria. Yeah. Right, you know. So now Alexander is blessing. Well, the Most High is using Alexander to bless our people. At least bless us enough to be able to keep our laws, right? And we ain't got to be under the wicked laws, right? So he blessing us enough to do that, the Most High, right? And now you got these people over here like, shoot, I want some of that too. Let me get some of that blessing. So they clout chasers. They clout chasers. They chasing clout now. Yeah. So go ahead down to 47, please, and thank you.
Down to 347?
Yeah, all the way, you know, right here, because it's funny.
Yeah.
They funny.
Accordingly, they made their address to the king with splendor and showed great readiness in meeting him at a little distance from Jerusalem. And when Alexander had commended them, the Shechemites, am I saying that right? Shechemites approached to him, taking with them the troops that Sanballat had sent him, and they desired that he would come to their city and do honor to their temple also, to whom he promised that when he returned, he will come to them. And when they petitioned that he would remit the tribute of the 7th year to them, because they did but so thereon, he asked who they were that made such a petition.
So look, now Alexander asking who they are. He like, now who are y'all? Now watch what they say.
And when they said that they were Hebrews,
they said they was what?
Hebrews.
Go ahead.
But had the name of the Sidonians.
So they Zidonians, but they claiming to be Hebrew. He like, hold on, but you got the Zidonians name, but you just said you was Hebrew. Go ahead.
Living at Shechem. He asked them again whether they were Jews.
So Alexander asking them again, like, no, are you Jews? You said you Hebrew, but are you Jews? Go ahead.
And when they said they were not Jews,
now they like, no, we ain't Jews. We was just trying to get down. Go ahead.
It was to the Jews, said he.
So now Alexander like, no, this for the Jews. This ain't for you. You ain't no Jew. This ain't for you. Go ahead.
Said he that I granted that privilege. However, when I return, I am thoroughly informed by you of this matter. I will do what I shall think proper. And in this manner, he took leave of the Shechemites, but ordered that the troops of Sanballat should follow him into Egypt, because there he designed to give them lands, which he did a little after the bias, when he ordered them to guard that country. Now when Alexander was dead, the government was parted among his successors.
Now you remember that prophecy? Once the king was to go, once Alexander was to go, his kingdom should be split in 4. Here it is right here. This is history. Alexander was dead and the government was parted among his successors. Go ahead.
But the temple upon Mount Gerizim remained. And if anyone was accused by those of Jerusalem of having eaten things common, or have broken the Sabbath, or of any other crime of the like nature, he fled away to the Shechemites and said that he was accused unjustly. About this time, it was the Jaddua, the high priest, died, and Unias, his son, took the high priesthood. This was the state of the affairs of the people of Jerusalem at this time.
So that was our state at that time. So now let's go back to 1 Maccabees 1. Now we know who Alexander is. We know the story behind it. Now let's read 1 Maccabees 1 and 10. I know it's boring, but hey, Yeah. I'm telling you, if we would have had the PowerPoint up like we wanted to have it, it wouldn't be as boring. Because we have all types of stuff on there, you know, so you can have a visual. You know.
Let me raise this question.
Yes, sir.
Question of circumcision.
Uh-huh.
Okay, we learned or we heard that Jewish babies, male babies were circumcised, you know, after birth.
Yes.
That circumcision was a sign for all truly Hebrew children. You're on, you know, once you get hit, you know, you carry that the rest of your days. That was a sign that no blue eyes or whatever you got. That's not the sign. The sign is drop. And see what you got.
All right.
Anyway, that was the sign.
Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Johnny got a way of putting things together. You got a way of putting.
So that was the way to identify who they were, what you trying to say.
Yeah, drop. Okay. Yeah.
Did that.
Oh, yeah, that's it. That's actually in the book of Maccabees. Yeah, they did that. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and you're right. That's where the gymnasiums come from, because they wanted us to exercise naked. That's what the word gymnasium means. They wanted us to exercise naked so they can make sure that we weren't doing circumcision. Yeah, he right about that. I'm telling the truth. Yeah, that's what gymnasium. Matter of fact, I think we got some of that in here. Yeah. The word gymnasium, look it up. You can look it up right now for yourself. The word gymnasium, go to gymnasium word origin. It means to exercise naked. That's what it means. That's the truth. All right, Mr. Johnny, he telling you, hey, Mr. Johnny bringing it out. Yeah. We just laughed at the way you put it. You know, that was funny. Okay, first Maccabees 1 and 1, and then we can read all the way down to 10.
First Maccabees 1 and 1. And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Shetland, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece, and made many wars and won many strongholds, and slew the kings of the earth, and went through the ends of the earth, and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted, and his heart was lifted up. And he gathered a mighty strong host, and ruled over countries, and nations, and kings, who became tributaries unto him. And after these things he fell sick, and perceived that he should die.
And we just read that in Josephus. We read that in history. Now we reading it in the Bible. Right?
Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable, and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them, while he was yet alive.
See that? History in the Bible. 7.
So Alexander reigned 12 years, and then died. And his servants bare rule every one in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth. And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been in hostage at Rome. And he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks.
Yep, so now we can go down to the 41st verse. So now we introducing a wicked root, Antiochus Epiphanes, all right? After Alexander, right? Alexander's kingdom split into his 4 generals, Cassander, Lysimachus, Antigonus, or however you say that, and Ptolemy. All right, those was his 4 generals. All right, now you got Antiochus Epiphanes coming up on the scene. All right, these are Grecians or Greeks.
Verse 44. For the king has sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days, and pollute the sanctuary and holy people, set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts.
And sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts.
That they should also leave their children uncircumcised.
That they should what?
Leave their children uncircumcised.
That was a law that the Greeks had. This is what Mr. Johnny was just talking about. Mr. Johnny was just talking about. What do you say? What you say, Mr. Johnny? Drop them. Let me see. Hey, them Greeks was weird, man. They was weird. Yeah. Come on.
And should make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation. To the end that they might forget the law and change all the ordinances.
See, and this is what they've accomplished in the Western world, that we forgot the law, right? And all the ordinances. Now we scrambling trying to get back to the Most High. That was accomplished with Rome. Rome accomplished that with us. 50.
And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die.
Now this is Antiochus Epiphanes. That's the king at this time. Go ahead.
In the selfsame manner wrote he to the whole kingdom, and appointed overseers over all the people, commanding the cities of Judah to sacrifice, city by city.
Yeah, so they want us to sacrifice on their days, city by city. And that's the same thing that's going on in America today. They got holidays. And certain sacrifices come with them holidays. You know, every Thanksgiving, what you eat? Turkey, right? 4th of July, what you eating? You cranking up the grill and you throwing some ribs on, right? You know, I see you over right? 4th of July, you cranking up the grill, throwing some ribs on. Easter, you eating a ham. Honey baked, and
The brown sugar on that bad boy too.
sound like y'all need some deliverance. They a little happy. They happy. What y'all had us eating over here, man? Shoot. I knew that meat looked a little too pink. That was the other white meat y'all was trying to have. Shoot, y'all got excited when I said ham. She talking about honey baked Coca-Cola, pineapple. Man. All right. Yeah, they sacrificing city by city, 52.
Then many of the people were gathered up to them, to wit, everyone that forsook the law. And so they committed evils in the land, and drove the Israelites into secret places, even wheresoever they could find, they could flee for succor.
So we had to roll out. If we wanted to keep the law, we had to go find us somewhere off in the cut somewhere. And that's pretty much what it's getting ready to come to in a second. We're going to have to start moving around. 54.
Now the 15th day of the month, Caslu, in the 145th year, they set up the abomination of desolation upon the altar, and builded idol altars altars throughout the cities of Judah on every side, and burnt incense at the doors of their houses and in the streets.
So,
And
go ahead.
when they had rent in pieces the books of the law which they found, they burnt them with fire. And whosoever was found with any book of the testament, or if any committed to the law, the king's commandment was that they should put him to death.
So if anybody was found keeping any of the commandments, if you had any holy books, any holy scrolls of our peoples, right, you was put to death. They was burning the books. They was putting us to death. They was writing them, coloring and drawing and putting themselves in our book. All right. Yeah,
That was
yeah.
like that movie. Remember that movie we watched? It was burning all the books.
Yeah.
They didn't want none of them, nobody. It was like a fire department. They ain't put out no
Oh, I seen
fires. Yeah.
With the
But
dude,
they're burning all books, any book they had.
Michael B. Jordan played in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the name of that? So I remember that movie. Yeah. That was his job. Their job was to burn the books, right?
Burn the books.
There was, whenever they found somebody with books, hey, let's go burn them, right? And there was a penalty, he was locked up or something, right? Then he started reading, yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, because they wouldn't, it was in the future, right? Yeah, I remember though, I did see that. Second Maccabees, let's go to Second Maccabees now. 4 and 15. I know y'all already know there. We're gonna get up out of here. We almost done, to be real with you. We got part 2 though. Y'all want to do part 2? Yeah. Yeah.
The book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 4 and verse 15. Now setting by the honor of their fathers, but liking the glory of the Grecians best of all.
And see, the Most High was angry with us. He began to get angry with us because a lot of our people was complicit with the Greeks. They was happy to serve. They was like, shit, I ain't want to do none of that stuff anyway. So they started eating, they was happily doing all of these things. Nah, I didn't. Yeah, 4:15, yeah. That's through 17.
Verse 16. By reason whereof sore calamity came upon them, for they had them to be their enemies and avengers, whose custom they followed so earnestly, and unto whom they desired to be like in all things.
See, we had Shacks, we had Charles Barkley's, we had them back then. Right? These people who desired to keep the customs of the other nations over their own so earnestly. Why? Because they were being fed by these people, spoon-fed. 17.
Verse 17. For it is not a light thing to do wickedly against the laws of the Most High, but the time following shall declare these things.
But the time following shall declare these things. Now let's go to 6. 2 Maccabees 6 and 1.
2 Maccabees 6 and 1. Not long after this, the king sent an old man of Athens to compel the Jews to depart from the laws of their fathers.
To do what?
To depart from the laws of their
I'm
fathers.
sorry, man. I heard that. I had to put you back out there, Buffalo. All right. Yeah.
And not to live after the laws of the Most High. And to pollute also the temple in Jerusalem, and to call it the temple of Jupiter, Olympius.
See that? So now we calling our temple Jupiter. Now you know Jupiter is Satan, right? Jupiter Olympius, right? No, we did it. We did it. Come on.
And that in Gerizim of Jupiter, the defender of strangers, as they did desire that dwelt in the place. The coming in of this mischief was sore and grievous to the people. For the temple was filled with riot and revelry by the Gentiles, who dallied with harlots, and had to do with women within the circuit of the holy places, and besides that brought in things that were not lawful. The altar also was filled with profane things, which the law forbid. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days, or ancient fasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew.
So it wasn't lawful to keep the Sabbath or to keep the feast days or to say, I'm a Jew. You couldn't say you was a Jew. That's what we dealing with. That's when you got your boy, you know, Shaq and them. You know, they helping out. Like, yeah, you know, that's anti-Semitic. Who are you? Who are you? It's idiot. They calling him an idiot. Hurtful, right? We can't say who we are without hurting somebody else. He didn't say who he was. He just did what? He put a link up. That's all he did was posted a link. You know. But guess what? They made a mountain out of a molehill, and now you done made all of our people, not even just our people, all people run to see what it is they tripping about. And they done open a can of worms. You know, so now what's gonna be their resolve? They probably thinking like, man, we messed up now. We done messed up, so now we gotta move to phase 6.
Right.
Operation Warp Speed. You know? Yeah. Operation Warp Speed. Let's speed it up.
We were just insane, y'all.
Yes, sir.
Verse 7. And in the day of the king's birth, every month, they brought by bitter constraint to eat of the sacrifices. And when the fast of Bacchus was kept,
Feast of Bacchus. Yeah. Yeah. Second Maccabees 6 and 7. Yeah, you talking about a fast? I'm like, Bacchus, you fasted? They fasting for Bacchus. Yeah, they might have fasted. Yeah. 6 and 7. Yeah, 6 and 7. Yep, 145. 6 and 7.
Second Maccabees chapter 6, verse 7. And in the day of the king's birth, every month they were brought by bitter constraint to eat of the sacrifices. And when the feast of Bacchus was kept, the Jews were compelled to go in procession to Bacchus, carrying ivy. Moreover, there went out a decree to the neighbor cities of the heathen by the suggestion of Ptolemy against the Jews, that they should observe the same fashions and be partakers of their sacrifices.
So they trying to make us convert into their way of life. And this is where you get Gentiles in the New Testament. Certain Israelites were being called Gentiles in the New Testament because of this conversion. We was forced to convert into the fashions of the Jews. I mean, of the Greeks. All right. So sometimes you will see the word Greek there, and it's not talking about ethnic Greeks. All right. It's talking about the Hellenes. All right. Those who took on Greek customs. Go ahead.
Verse 9. And whoso would not conform themselves to the manners of the Gentiles should be put to death. Then might a man have seen the present misery.
Yep. All right. So let's just read that in 1 Corinthians 12. Real quick. Let's get an example of what we just talked about.
First Corinthians chapter 12, verse 2. Ye know that ye were Gentiles, carried away unto these dumb idols, even as ye were led.
We were led by Antiochus.
Wherefore I give you to understand.
That's cool. I just wanted to read that. We was led. This is what Paul was talking about. We was led to these Gentiles. We was led to we was led to these idols, and we were called Gentiles. Like some of us were. All right. So when you read the New Testament, you got to read it in a new context. You can't look at everything for face value. You got to understand the history.
Why it was called such and such.
Yeah, right. Right. Paul was calling and certain things he was saying. And you gotta rightly divide the truth. You would have to go into the Old Testament. You have to look around to find out who he talking about. All right, so we got to get that history. Let's get Josephus now. Back to Josephus. I don't think we're gonna be in there long. But let's go back to Josephus, book 12. Antiquities, yeah, book 12, chapter 5. We almost done. Look, we've been here a long time now. All right, we've been waiting on the power to come on. Cars done broke down, computers. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we had worse days. We had worse days. Yeah. And then you told him paragraph 257. Antiquities of the Jews. If you got the 357. Paragraph 357. Five.
Chapter 5.
And 357. I said 257, y'all. I'm tired, man. I apologize. 257. Yeah, that's a sign. I apologize. 257.
When the Samaritans saw the Jews under these sufferings, they no longer confessed.
When the who? Read that again.
When the Samaritans saw the Jews under these sufferings.
So now these people who've been placed in the northern kingdom, they see us suffering. So when they see us under these sufferings, go ahead.
They no longer confessed that they were of their families.
So they was like, look, we ain't them no more. We was them, but now Antiochus up in there, we ain't them no more. Go ahead.
Nor that the temple on Mount Gerizim belonged to Almighty God. This was according to their future.
Nature. Their nature.
Oh yeah, nature.
So this was their nature. This is their nature. They clout chasers. Yeah. Go ahead.
As we have already shown, and they now said that they were a colony of Medes and Persians.
So now they who they originally were. Hey, look here. We Medes and Persians. We don't know none of what's going on down there in that southern kingdom. Go ahead.
And indeed, they were a colony of theirs. So they sent ambassadors in Antiochus and an epistle whose contents are these: to King Antiochus, to the god Epiphanes, a memorial from the Sidonians who live in Shechem. Our forefathers, upon certain frequent plagues, and as following a certain ancient superstition, had a custom of observing that day, which by the Jews is called the Sabbath. And when they had,
remember we read that in 2 Kings 17. Remember when it was placed in the land, and the Most High was sending animals on to devour them to get them up off the land because they weren't living on their land. So they calling it an ancient superstition. So these are the same people that was in the land at that time. Just to show you, go ahead.
And when they erected a temple at the mountain called Gerizim, though without a name, they offered upon it the proper sacrifices. Now upon just treatment of these wicked Jews, those that managed their affair, supposing that we were of kin to them and practice as they do, make us liable to the same accusations. Although we be originally Sidonians, as is evidence from the public records.
So it's evident in public records who they were. They got the public records, but then when we doing good, they want to come and say, no, we with them. Go ahead.
We therefore beg you, our benefactor and savior, to give order to Napoleon, the governor of this part of the country, and Nicanor, the procurator of your affairs to give the disturbance or to lay to our charge, if the Jews are accused for it. Since we are aliens from their nation, and from their customs,
So they aliens from our customs, our nation and our customs.
Also, said they fair when they bring.
Yeah.
Times is good. Times are rough, they come down. They don't know who you are.
That's a shame.
but let our temple, which at present has no name at all, be named the temple of Jupiter Hellenis. If this were once done, we should be no longer disturbed, but we should be more intent on our own occupation with quietness. So bringing a greater revenue to you. When the Samaritans had petitioned for this, the king sent back the following answer in an epistle. King Antiochus to Nicanor, me the memorial enclosed. When therefore we were advising with our friends about it, the messengers sent them representative to us that they are no way concerned with accusations which belong to the Jews, but choose to live after their custom of the Greeks. Accordingly, we declared them free from such accusations in order that agreeable to their petition, their temple be named the temple of Jupiter Hellenis. He also sent the like epistle to Apollonius, the governor of the part of the country, in 46 year and the 18th day of the month, Hexacombagian.
You tried. You tried. Okay. All right. So now let's go. Let's move on. Let's go to the New Testament. That's why Christ said this. Go to Matthew 10:5-6. Go to Matthew 10:5-6. Now we can understand the New Testament. When we deal with the history, now we can go in and begin to understand.
Book of Matthew.
Yep.
Chapter 10, verse 5. These 12 Yashaya sent forth.
So now Christ is sending out the disciples. He's sending them forth, saying what?
And commanded them, saying, go forth into the way of go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not.
So don't even go into the city of Samaritans. Don't even go messing with them imposters, them phonies. Enter ye not. Don't even go deal with them. Go ahead.
But go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And as you go, preach, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand.
So go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel and tell them their kingdom is at hand. Now let's go to St. John 4. St. John 4:5. Now we go in here because a lot of times people find it strange why Christ was saying such things to people. St. John 4:5.
St. John chapter 4, verse 5. Then cometh he to a city of Samaria.
So now Christ is going into Samaria, a city. Go ahead.
Which is called Sychar.
The city is Sychar.
Near to the parcel of ground that Jacob gave to his son Joseph. Now Jacob's well was there. Yeshua, therefore, being weary with his journey, sat thus on the well. And it was about the 6th hour. There cometh a woman of Samaria to draw water. Yeshua said unto her, give me to drink. For his disciples were gone away unto the city to buy meat. Then said the woman of Samaria unto him, how is it that thou, being a Jew, askest drink of me, which am a woman of Samaria? For the Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans.
See that? The Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans. Because why? Clearly why? You can't trust them. As soon as something go down, they right, they gone on. Matter of fact, they're aligning themselves with the enemy on. But when you in prosperity, they right there sharing with you. They trying to, she at Jacob's well. Watch this, go ahead.
Verse 10, Yeshaya answered and said unto her, if thou knewest the gift of God, and who it is that saith to thee, give me to drink, thou wouldest have asked of him, and he would have given thee living water.
So now, go ahead. Let's hear her answer.
The woman said unto him, Sir, thou hast nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. From whence then hast thou that living water? Art thou greater than our father?
Art thou what?
Greater than our father Jacob?
So now she's saying, our father Jacob.
Right.
You see that? Now she aligning herself. There they go. That's what they do. Go ahead.
Which gave us the well,
Mhm.
and drank thereof himself, and his children, and his cattle.
Mhm.
Yeshaya answered and said unto her, whosoever drinketh of this water shall thirst again. But whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst. But the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water springing into everlasting life.
Uh-huh.
The woman said unto him, Sir, give me this water that I thirst not, neither come thither to draw.
So this woman think Yeshaya spitting game at her now. Give me the water. Now watch what he say to her. Go ahead.
Yeshaya said unto her, Go, call thy husband and come hither.
So go get your husband. I ain't trying to holler at you. Go get your husband. Go ahead.
The woman answered and said, I have no husband. Yeshaya said unto her, Thou hast well said, I have no husband, for thou hast had 5 husbands. And he whom thou now hast is not thy husband. In that says thou truth.
So he just broke her all the way down. Go ahead. Oh, he really about to get her.
The woman said unto him,
Mhm.
Sir, I perceive that thou art a prophet. Our fathers worship in this mountain.
What she say?
Our fathers worship in this mountain.
Now she talking about our fathers worshipped in this mountain. Go ahead.
And ye say that in Jerusalem is the place where men ought to worship.
Now watch what Yeshaya give her. Go ahead.
Yeshaya said unto her, Woman, believe me, the hour cometh when ye shall neither drink in this mountain nor at Jerusalem. But when you shall neither in this mountain nor at Jerusalem worship the Father.
See? Go ahead.
Ye worship, ye know not what.
You don't know what you worship. Go
We
ahead.
know what we worship,
We, as in the Jews, Israel, we know what we worship. Go ahead.
for salvation is of the Jews.
Come on.
But the hour cometh,
But the hour is finna come, lady.
and now it is,
Uh-huh.
when the true worshipers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth.
In word and in deed. The true worshipers are going to worship the Most High in word and in deed, in spirit and in truth. Come on.
For the Father seeketh such to worship him.
Mhm. Go ahead.
The Most High is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth.
Must worship him in word and in deed. In word and in deed. That's the only way. And guess what? That woman, hey, listen, she won't be there anymore. The Most High gonna bring his people back and set them in his land, in their land. So she won't be there no more. All right, but see, when people read this, I'm guaranteeing you, most people have a misunderstanding of what they read when they read this, because they don't understand the history. They won't go into the history to not understand it. So now let's find out who the true worshipers are. Let's go to Zephaniah 3 and 10. Can you pull up Zephaniah 3 and 10? Are you getting it there? Okay. No, you don't have to read it. I would like him to read it. Pull up yeah, so compare. Compare. You can read.
The book of Zephaniah, chapter 3, verse 10. From beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, my suppliants, even the daughter of my dispersed, shall bring my.
Now hold up. His true worshipers. Zephaniah 3 and 10. That word suppliant right there. You got suppliant? Supplying is H6280, and it means a worshiper. A worshiper. Okay, the daughter of his dispersed. Christ was letting it be known. I'm gonna gather my people, and they're coming back into the land. The true worshipers is coming here. The scattered, that's right. Christ letting them know, no, y'all ain't gonna be over here. Nah, y'all gonna be out of here. All right, now let's go back to 2nd Maccabees 9:28. Let's get the death. Let's get the death of Antiochus, and let's get this last conversion before we go into the 9:28 and 29. 9:28 and 29. Dang, you got a keyboard.
Book of Second Baptist.
Second who? Hey, listen, hold up. We tired, y'all, for real. We've been working all day. Yesterday we had, man, my car broke down. My car broke down yesterday. We was out until what 1 o'clock? 1 o'clock in the morning. Then that ain't what we do on the Sabbath. You know, so
At the end of the day, we're already working.
yeah, so we tired. Please excuse us. We got everybody laughing. So sorry about that. He going into the book of Second Bacchus. Huh? Hey, brother, we don't want to deal with that. We ain't trying to deal with that.
You about to say Maccabee.
Yeah.
All right. Second Maccabees, chapter 9, verse 28. I read. Thus the murderer and the blasphemer, having suffered most grievously, as he entreated other men.
9:28. You sure about that? Oh yeah, but that's the murder and blasphemy. Yeah, you right there. 9:28. Sorry about that. You right there? Sure. I'm right there. All right, let's go. I'm sorry. Look, I was just right here. Like, where's my apocrypha? My apocrypha right here. I'm looking around for my apocrypha. So yeah, we tired. Sorry. Yeah. All right. Second Maccabees 9:28.
Second Maccabees, chapter 9, verse 28. Thus the murderer and the blasphemer, having suffered most grievously, as he entreated other men, so died he a miserable death in a strange country in the mountains.
Can you read the 19th verse real quick so we know who it's talking about?
Verse 19, 2 Maccabees 9 and 19. Antiochus, king and governor, to the good Jews, his citizens.
Yeah, so this was Antiochus.
Which is much joy.
This was Antiochus died at this point. He was writing a letter to the Jews at this point, but then after the letter, he died, right? So somebody heard about him dying. All right. Let's go to Josephus. 29? Yeah, read 29. Read 29, sorry.
And Philip, that was brought up with him, carried away his body, who also, fearing the son of Antiochus, went into Egypt to Ptolemy, Philometor.
Just say skip it. Huh? All right. Chapter 13. Antiquities. This is it. We read this and we done, and then we're going to we're gonna start with Antipas next Sabbath. We'll start with Antipas, and we'll move on from there to the Herodians and all of that. But go to page 438, baby. This is Antiquities, book 13, chapter 8. 254. Hold on, chapter 8, yeah, 254. Book 13, am I right? No, book 13, chapter 9. Chapter 9, and start at 254, yeah. This is Antiquities of the Jews. Josephus. All right, read down to 259.
But when Hyrcanus heard,
Hyrcanus.
Hyrcanus,
Yeah.
but when Hyrcanus heard of the death of Antiochus, he presently made an expedition against the cities of Syria, hoping to find them destitute of fighting men and of such as were able to defend them. However, it was not until the 6th month that he took Medaba, and that not without the greatest distress of his army. After this, he took Samega and neighboring places, and besides these, Shechem and Gerizim, and the nation of the Cuthians who dwelt at the temple, which resembled them, and which at Jerusalem, and which Alexander permitted Sanballat, the general of his army, to build for the sake of Manasseh, who was the son-in-law of Jaddua, the high priest, as we had formerly related, which temple was now deserted 200 years after it was built.
So Hyrcanus, when he found out Antiochus was dead, he said, all right, let's ride. Let's go make sure, let's go see what we can do. Because, hey, now Antiochus dead, now we got some little strength we can muster up and we can go out here and get something done, right? Because they have been warring with the Greeks. Let me let y'all know who John Hyrcanus is, all right? John Hyrcanus is the nephew of Judas Maccabeus. Judas Maccabeus was the one that led the revolt in the Maccabees, right? That's why we got the holy day that's coming up, the Feast of Dedication. All right. It was Judas Maccabeus and his brother Simon. Simon is Simeon. John Hyrcanus is actually Simeon's son. All right, so he's the nephew of Judas Maccabeus. That's who John Hyrcanus is. Go ahead, Bing. So now he getting ready to take down Idumea. Go ahead.
Hyrcanus took also Zora and Marissa, cities of Idumea, and subdued all the Idumeans and permitted them to stay in that country. If they were circumcised, their Gentiles, and make use of the laws of the Jews, and they were so desirous of living in the country of their forefathers, that they submitted to use of the circumcision and of the rest of the Jewish ways of living. At which time, therefore, this befell them, and they were hereafter no other than Jews.
So there's another conversion. These is Edomites. Idumea is a city. These are Idumeans, Edomites. All right. So now you got Edomites doing what? Being converted, and they're being called Jews. Here you go. So this is where we're gonna end at. Go ahead. We're gonna end here, and then from here we'll be going into the New Testament time. Go ahead.
But Hyrcanus the high priest was
Desirous
to renew that league of friendship they had with the Romans.
All right, now that's it. And I apologize, we was a little choppy and all over the place with this one. If it be the Most High's will, next week everything will run smooth. We'll have us a PowerPoint and everything will come out smooth. It was a little off today, so my apologies. It was situations that we couldn't, there was a few situations that we just couldn't control. And yeah, so we late for one, you know, and for two, we tired, and it's a bit sloppily put together. But if it be the Father's will, next week it'll be smooth. Everything will go smooth. Yeah, we'll be on point next week. Yeah. So Shabbat Shalom. Yep, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Yeah. Yeah.